Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I told you, I promised I would be back making more content sooner than later. And here I am. So today I want to talk about tapping into your dreams for your witchcraft practice. We're going to talk about the liminal space. We're going to talk about accessing your dreams, lucid dreaming, interpreting your dreams, and how to get better at dreaming and remembering your dreams. So a big thing I hear from so many people is that, well, I don't remember my dreams. I don't remember my dreams. I've never remembered them. And I've got a couple of practices for that. There's a bunch of things that I'm going to talk about. I have lots of items with me today that I'm going to show you that I use personally to invoke messages in my dreams and to help me remember what I saw and interpret what I saw. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you 2 dreams I had recently that I have come to understand and interpret, and one that I had recently that was wild, and I don't know what it means, and there's so much symbolism in it, and maybe you can help me understand what was happening. And then I'm going to finish this video by giving you a guided meditation to access your dream world. So let's get started. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Freya Serafina. I'm a PhD researcher in women's spirituality. I'm a hedge witch, I'm a priestess, and I run a Women's Spirituality Institute in Northern New Jersey, but also we have many virtual offerings. And by the time this video comes out, I will have finished or about to finish a 4-week, so month-long Dreaming Temple workshop. And some of the things that I'm sharing today are from that workshop I shared in that process, and many of them are not. So a little bit of both, a little bit of extra. And I'm really passionate about this idea of a dreaming temple. And oracles, priestesses, practices of dreaming and interpreting your dreams, receiving messages in your dreams from gods and goddesses, from your ancestors, from maybe your own subconscious, have been around since time immemorial. My own ancestral lineage, the coastal Sami, believe that dreaming, that you do receive messages in your dreams, and that sharing your dreams is a gift to the community. But you don't share them right away. You sit with them for quite some time. You interpret them, and when you feel it is time to share those dreams, you do share them with the community. In ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, there were oracles and priestesses and prophets and all sorts of people whose job it was to help induce dreams and interpret your dreams. So there's one that's really fun from ancient Greece, and there was a practice where people would go to the temple and they would leave offerings to the priestess, and the priestess would then take them into the inner sanctum of the temple. And there would be herbs and incense and chanting and drumming and music and all these wonderful things that would help induce the dream. And whatever ailment you had, you were seeking healing or an answer or a direction on which way to go, the priestess would help you not only to receive those messages in your dreams, but then to interpret them in the morning. And another ancient dreaming practice I really like is sleeping under the stars. So instead of going into the temple, into the walls, the stone walls of the temple, you would go out into a field where all you could see were the expanse of stars in the night sky. And the stars themselves were guides, our guides. And their twinkling and their lights would be sending you messages. And the stars were thought of as ancestral beings, as gods, as weavers of light and mystery that could speak to you and share messages with you. And so you would go out into the field and you would bathe under the stars in your dreams and receive those messages. I mean, how wonderful does that sound? That sounds really incredible to me. And I was joking with a friend recently that, we live in like metropolitan areas and big cities, and, the stars are covered with like smog and smoke and fog and whatever the hell else. And it's sometimes really difficult to see them. And because we don't see them, does that mean that we don't feel their presence? I do think that we feel their presence, but I also think it's harder to feel their presence, and that is a shame. So if you have a practice that you really love in terms of dreaming and maybe feeling the presence of the stars, I'd love to know about it in the comments below, because I really, really, really want to feel the presence of the stars more deeply. And I digress. So these practices that are so ancient do not simply live in the ancient world. There are indigenous communities across the globe that actively practice dreaming practices of some kind. I call it a dreaming temple. I use it as a metaphor for a container, a sacred container, where we can go and be safe, and where this door to the temple is always waiting for us to simply step through. And I'm going to give you a couple of practices to step through that temple door. So here we are. Here are a few suggestions. If you are a person who has a hard time settling into sleep, I want you to clean your space. So I think about it like this. Back in ancient times, in order to purposefully induce a dream, I'm going to take the priestesses in the temple, for example. An offering had to be made, right? An offering had to be made. Effort had to be put into procuring the dream and interpreting the dream. And I think in our modern contemporary life, everything just comes to us like this. We're on social media, we pick up the phone, we order Uber, we order DoorDash, and we just go. And there's little effort put into the things that we do. So that when things are hard, or maybe they don't work the very first time, or even the first 7 times, we give up. A dreaming practice is a practice that you have to practice. So I want you to clean your space. And I don't want you to just clean your space like, oh, I put the clothes away and I swept the floor and I mopped it and, I dusted everything, which is great. You should try to make wherever it is that you sleep a sanctuary, a temple in and of itself. But also look around your space. Energetically, what's going on? What's going on in the space, in the bedroom, wherever it is, right? Do you have a bunch of stuff in there that you have negative feelings about? Do you have a shit ton of clutter like I do? Take a look around the space, clean the space, energetically clean and cleanse the space. Burn something, light some candles, light some incense, put some oils into, the liquid when you're mopping. Leave some herbs or some flowers or some moon water or crystals out on your windowsill. Energetically prepare the space. My second recommendation is to energetically prepare yourself. I mean, we live in a fast-paced world, unfortunately, I think. Work school, kids, extracurricular, sports, whatever, right? We're going from place to place to place. How often do we come home, we're exhausted, we strip the clothes off, we pass out? You are carrying all of the energy of the day with you. And yeah, sure, sometimes we hop in the shower, but are you energetically cleansing yourself? Sometimes that takes a little more effort, a little more energy. Now, I've mentioned a few things, right? How can I cleanse myself in the shower? I like to make herb water. So there's a sunflower in here. This is just because I went to a farm for my birthday, which was August 18th, by the way. So wishing me a happy belated birthday in the comments. I went to a farm and you were able to pick a bunch of stuff, and here we are. I took 2 sunflowers home. I used one to make a sunflower essence, and the same flower that I used to make the sunflower essence, which is right here, I also made sunflower water. And there's something bright and energetic and strong about a sunflower, right? Always tilting its head towards the sun, towards the brightness. So I want to embody a little bit of that. You might want different herbs. Mugwort, lavender, rosemary, thyme, motherwort, valerian. I mean, there's a bunch of things. Clove, cinnamon. I mean, you know, look up the kinds of herbs that you want and their associations, and soak some water, create, you know, a little herbal situation. Be mindful of using a ton of herbs in the bath, which I've done, of course. Though when you use a ton of herbs in the bath, like, it can get clogged. So because I live in an apartment complex and not my own home, I would prefer not to have the landlord special when they clean. And so I like to make herb water, herb or flower water. And then instead of using the herb itself, I use the essence of the herb. You can also do that with oils. So oils are fantastic. Now, this is just an example of an oil. I wouldn't necessarily use what I've put in here for dreaming oils. I'll put some of those herbal suggestions below. Again, valerian and cinnamon are really coming to my mind. Lavender, thyme. I put a sprig of thyme under my pillow, which is like the next thing, putting herbal pouches and herbs and stuff under your pillow, crystals under your pillow. I put a sprig of thyme under my pillow last week, and I had the craziest dreams that I'm going to tell you about at the end. But I make infused oils. I make a lot of body oils for pain, for magical reasons, medical reasons. This happens to be an oil for pain, but I just wanted to show you what it might look like. So this is coconut oil. You can use olive oil. You can use sunflower oil. I mean, whatever floats your boat, whatever you feel comfortable putting on your body. And of course, there's different like medicinal reasons why you might choose one over the other. But in here, I've got cinnamon, mint, lavender, rosemary, ginger, chamomile, and rose. And the rose is really there for loving energy. The other ones are really going to be pulling their weight in terms of dealing with muscle pains and body pains. But you would infuse your herbs into an oil, and maybe you would anoint yourself, anoint different parts of your body before sleep. That works wonderfully. And you know, when you're cleansing yourself and cleansing your space in these ways with oils and with infusions, what you're really saying is, I am a sacred temple. My body is sacred. My essence is sacred. My space is sacred. And you're setting the stage. A lot of what happens when we get into dreaming and dreaming spaces and, you know, dream imagery is our brain likes to take over, and our brain wants to make a meaning of things. And so, you know, you're sort of psychologically telling yourself, I am ready to have an experience. I am ready to receive something. I'm ready for something to happen, right? And so treat going to bed as often as you can as an experience. I mean, how lucky are we that we get to go to sleep and not worry. Well, I can't speak for everyone who's watching this, but how lucky am I then that I get to go to sleep and I don't have to worry about a bomb being dropped on my head in my sleep? Going to sleep is an experience. Make it a good one. Some other suggestions. Since I brought up putting something under your pillow, you can make an herb pouch. This is definitely an herb and crystal pouch. I've got to check its contents. It might be time for a recharge. Oh yeah, look at that. Definitely for protection based on the smells of this. Smells wonderful. But you could take a bunch of herbs. I just put a sprig of thyme under the pillow, but you can combine a bunch of things and put it in a pouch, put it under your pillow to stimulate these dreams. You can also do this with sigils or symbols of some kind. You can do this with crystals. You could sleep with crystals nearby, right? This is some celestite, and it makes me think of the heavenly, dreamy, watery realms. And so a lot of this has power, and also some of that power is the association that your mind makes, right? So I also have like this nice blue candle and this like brassy thing. So all of that to me says, I'm ready to dream. I'm ready to dream. I'm setting the stage for dreaming. Now, I mentioned symbols. I have a task for you to help you bring out dreams bring out messages in your dreams. I want you could do it right now. You can grab a pen and paper. You can pause this video. You can do it later, whatever you want to do. I want you to grab paper and a pen. I have a dedicated dream journal. Isn't this so cute? It's got like a little clasp, right? But I have a dedicated dream journal and I keep it by my bed. And if you're someone who's interested in dreaming, I know that you know this is a practice that you should be doing already. Keep your journal by your bed. At night, write an intention down. I want to dream. It could be that simple. I want to dream. I want to remember my dreams. I want to receive a message in my dreams. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Write it down. When you wake up in the morning, okay, before you even open your eyes, anything you can remember, any sensation, any experience, it doesn't matter what it is, repeat it to yourself so that it comes out of the dreaming space of your brain into memory. And then from there, don't pick up your phone. Don't do it. Do not pick up your phone. Pick up your journal and go to town. Everything you can remember. What was the air like? What was I wearing? What are the other sensations? What can I smell? What can I taste? What can I touch? Was there a breeze in my dream? Was there no breeze? Were other people there? Did my brain associate those figures with people in my waking life? Anything you can think of. If it's a sensation, if it's a color, if it's a phrase, if it doesn't make any goddamn sense, you're going to do that every day. I challenge you to do it every day for a moon cycle. I challenge you. That's just a month of your time. Because when you go back, you might start to see messages emerge, similarities, things that pop up, things that repeat themselves over and over again. Or maybe things that change drastically. And you're like, wait, how was I feeling on that Thursday? Oh, well, on that Thursday, I almost got into a car crash, and then this person pissed me off at work, and I came home and I was like, oh, it's finally time to quit my job. And then I had a dream where I was jumping off a bridge. Whoa. But when I jumped off, I didn't fall, I flew. Maybe you have that same dream 3 nights in a row, and each time you get a little further and a little further, and that last one you fly and you grow wings and you soar away. Now, I'm not going to tell you to quit your job, but chances are if you do, you'll be okay, right? So this is my challenge to you. Hopefully by this time you've grabbed your notebook. I want you to right now, without thinking, don't put any pressure or judgment on yourself. Write down what it is you want to receive and see in your dream. What do I want to see? What do I want to experience? And why? And no one's reading this but you, so get real with yourself. Why? Why does it matter? Why do you care? What is dreaming and receiving messages in your dreams going to do for you? Why does it matter? Write all that down. And when you're done doing that, I want you to just draw, scribble, get creative, free write, put on some music. Maybe you don't write right away. Maybe we put on some music and move your body, something with a drum beat, and just release your energy and build it up and put it onto the page and onto the intention. Put it onto the why of why you want to do this. And get up and just move and shake and breathe. And when you feel ready, just free write, just draw. Maybe you got some colored pencils. Maybe you got some markers. Maybe you have some fucking clay. I have to stop cursing or YouTube's not going to promote my video. I made this with some of that like dry clay, like air drying clay or whatever. I love this thing. How cool, right? Whatever you do, just do it. And let it flow through you. So here's an example of that, what that might look like. So first I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but first I started just like scribbling and doodling one night. I was like, oh, love and clouds and goals and dreams, ooh. And then it shifted. You know, here's a sigil that I made. And really it's like this. To me it looks like in a bow and arrow with like flags on it. And I had created a sigil, and then after I energized myself, I wanted to shade it, and I wanted to make smoke, and I wanted to make fire, and I just did whatever I felt like with no judgment. And when you start to do that, you start to tap into your intuition, and you start to build inner self-trust. Allow these things to flow through you with no judgment, no shame, no like borders or boundaries on what it should be, how it should look, why you should want something, why you should want to receive a dream. Who cares? No one is seeing this but you unless you get on YouTube and show them your journal. Okay? Let that happen. And then tonight, before you go to bed, write an intention down. Put your journal next to the bed. Maybe you light some candles. Clean your space. Bathe yourself. Prepare yourself. Maybe you've got some crystals. Maybe you've got some oil. And go to sleep. And if you're still having trouble falling asleep, look around the room. Notice what you see. Notice what you experience. What do you smell? What can you touch? What do you hear? And let yourself go. Maybe you do all of this and you wake up the next morning and you remember nothing. That's okay. It is a practice, and you have to keep practicing. But when you start to cultivate these practices, your body, your mind, your subconscious mind, they start to get into a rhythm. They start to expect that something will happen. I spoke to a girlfriend of mine recently, and she was like, I never remember my dreams. I never remember my dreams. I never. And I was like, you are telling yourself that you never will. You never will then. You're not giving yourself the opportunity for it to actually happen. Change the way you think about receiving dreams. Go to bed with the intention, I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember. And maybe for a week, nothing happens. Maybe day 8, you wake up and you remember a phrase. Maybe the phrase is turn on the light. I don't know. That's all you remember, and you're like, that's fucking weird. Turn on the light, the light. You wake up on day 11, and all you remember is the image of a fire, a campfire. Wow, that's a light. And then day 15, you saw a light switch. A light, a light, a light. And then day 11, I went back in time. Day 20, you see your own hands in the darkness. You see your own hands and you're scared. And you feel like something's coming and something's coming and you're running and you're scared and you're scared. And then your subconscious mind says, turn on a light. Turn on a light. Oh shit, this is my dream. I'm in charge. And now you've got a candle or one of those giant lights that my dad used to take to work. Now you can see everything. And all of a sudden, the dark isn't so scary anymore because you turned on the light. And maybe that translates to, where do I need to shine a light in my own life? Or maybe it's, I remember I have power in this situation. I have power in this situation where everything seems so scary and something's coming to get me. But I can turn on a light. Our minds are talking to us all of the time, and sometimes we are so full of noise that we cannot listen. That's where our dreams come in. That's where they start to go, hold on, I got you, girl. I got you. Listen to me, listen to me. So we're going to cultivate this practice together. Now, but Freya, I can dream and, I can apply some kind of meaning to them. But like, how do I know if the meaning that I applied is the right one? I can't tell you that. Why? Because I personally feel that it would be irresponsible for me to tell you that this image means this, or this image means that, or this image means this, because in the language of dreams, the language of your own dream is speaking specifically to you. So I did this exercise in the workshop that was really illuminating. And I first explained that while I think there is some credibility and there's been incredible insights into dream symbolism through psychology and sociology and other dream oracles and dream practitioners and shamans, and sometimes those interpretations are steeped in someone's cultural identity, their background, their spirituality, and I don't discredit any of that shit. I think that, as collective community, we can see certain images and, understand like, oh, that's good, that's bad, that might mean this, it might mean this. And at the same time, how that applies to you or me or you or you or my cat who's sitting here about to make some trouble and knock stuff over is completely different. So I brought up a bunch of images and I said, don't say anything yet. Type into the chat what you think it means and I'll go. So we don't get influenced by other people, and then we'll send it to each other. And only I had 12 images. Only 3 of them did the people feel what it was the same idea. And some of them were in the same ballpark, but only 3 shared the same language of meaning around these images. And that's what I'm talking about. So this is where that idea of building up your self-trust comes from. That's where this idea comes from. You have to start cultivating these practices so that you start to get comfortable, and you start to get comfortable with trusting yourself and understanding yourself. And that's why I like this idea of doodling and scribbling and drawing and making pictures and making art. And because oftentimes we're not really shown, we're not going to have a dream where someone pops up and they're like, here's the message for you. and here's what it means. I mean, sometimes, but not often. You might have a dream where like the flying spaghetti monster comes and instead of dropping meatballs on your head, it shoots rainbows at you. What the hell is that? I want to preface this by saying sometimes a dream is just a dream and you're exhausted and maybe you took some sleeping medication or you're super stressed, and sometimes there are real messages in the flying spaghetti monster. Maybe the message is, this monster is going to come and get me and it's going to throw meatballs at me and I'm going to be hurt, and oh, a rainbow. Oh, I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I got confused. I was tricked. Maybe in your waking life, you assume everything is going to be a lot worse than it is, and you let your anxiety stop you from going forward. But sometimes a spaghetti and meatball storm is a rainbow. Maybe I said flying spaghetti monster turns to a rainbow and you thought something completely different than what I just said. And that is my point. I am interpreting these images through my own perspective and my own lens. And you have to do the same. The best thing you can do is write all of them down at all times. I hope you'll let me know the outcome of writing down your symbols and having your dream journal. I hope you'll report back after watching this and really receive the benefits of journaling about something every day. I almost forgot to share the dream that I can't make any sense of. And so I'm going to just read you what I have. If you are a priestess or a worshiper, someone who works with Hecate, can you please chime in on this? It was a crazy, wild dream. Okay, this is what I wrote. This was the day before my birthday. We lived on a houseboat with my dad, my brother, and I won't say the kid's name, but there's this kid I grew up with in my neighborhood, and he was like always made fun of for like getting hurt and being strange, which is a horrible thing now that I'm an adult. I'm like, that is so mean, and I don't know why we did that, but it was such a specific person to come through that I don't think about, and I'm like, what the heck? And of course, my partner, Aaron. We were in Greece, dream destination of mine, and the houseboat was massive, like a small yacht. Cleo, my cat, was there, and I owned a frog as a pet that I love. Kid from childhood, needed to cure something or fix something or remove something, ? So I told him we would go to Hecate's temple and leave an offering. We were in downtown Athens and the city was bustling, all caps. He left the offering for Hecate inside the temple. On the temple steps, the gods moved throughout the crowd, but no one noticed them but me. They looked like people, but more like larger, more colorful, more defined. And I remember watching them, like there were like male gods. And okay, we went back to the boat. I had my frog with me the whole time. So then I put my frog away and I put Cleo away, and Aaron decided to go to bed, not unusual. He sleeps anywhere and everywhere. My dad wanted to go to a market for food. We sailed down the coast only a little bit and we docked. He had a teeny tiny one-person boat, but it was too heavy for him, and he said it always sank, and he used it anyway. But we were literally next to the dock. There was no reason to use it. I got into the water to swim ashore, and I could touch the sandy beach floor with my feet. I could stand up. I wanted to leave my book bag. It was so heavy. But then a guy came back where we were, so I took it with me because he was sketchy. I was looking for pizza when the cops came because someone stole something and they arrested the sketchy guy. That's when Aaron woke up and found us. Where I wanted to leave my book bag felt like a homeless camp. There were so many people and garbage. What is that about? If you have any insights, please let me know. So, I had 2 dreams recently. Well, before I get there, actually, no, I'm going to share these first. So my first dream was what I called the banana dream. And this is what I mean about things being really silly sometimes, or like images are just your own. This I wrote down. As you can see, it's really called the banana dream. In my dream, I was trying to select the best of something, maybe food, maybe fruits, something. I think I was looking at long wooden boxes. I was having a hard time trying to pick which ones. That's when the bananas showed up. So what you'll notice is I couldn't really remember, but I did it anyway. And as I start to journal, things sort of come back. They get jogged. That's when the bananas show up. Bananas all come from the same place, the same tree or the same stem for a bunch of them. But they are all different, and so is their journey. This is very philosophical. Some are eaten right away, some aren't. Some die quickly or spoil. Some die and then have a second life in banana bread or ice cream. Like siblings, they all come from the same place but have a different experience. I felt really silly sharing this the first time, but this had profound healing and insight for my life. If anyone else out there has a difficult relationship with their family and you're like, you feel like even though you were raised in the same household as your siblings, you had a wildly different experience, bananas. Bananas. You all come from the same place, but you're all different, and you all have a different experience. Some die quickly. It's morbid. Some die quickly, but then they also have a second life. And I feel like that banana. I was beaten up and bruised, and somebody dropped me, but then I became banana bread, and now I'm delicious. You know, I could have just died. I could have been a dead banana, but I'm not. And actually, this dream has transformed not only the way I like think and feel about bananas, but also like how I feel about my upbringing. And so that's, you know, one of the powers of dreams. Another one I had recently that was not so good. I will read it to you. Last night, as usual, I had a handful of dreams. So this happens to me a lot. If you're a person who wakes up a lot during the night, has to use the bathroom, or maybe you have kids, or your partner elbows you in the face, this can happen. And so I don't want that to discourage you from latching on to something, okay? Because I'm the same way. But two stand out in my mind as they are a continuation of another. In the first, it was still summer on my small homestead. I don't have a homestead. That's a dream, though. The yard, its shape and size, reminded me of the yard at the witch shop in Sugarloaf. I say this because that is context for me. I have a very clear vision of what that yard looks like, and that's what it looked like in my dream. There was a fence just like that. It went around the entire yard. I was with two other women, and the men were gone. Who were the men? I don't know. We were tending to the land. All I can remember was that there was honey being gathered, and that it was warm and nice. In the second part of the dream, it was now fall. Autumn leaves blanketed the ground. There was a pleasant chill in the air. There were still two other women, but now one of them was my friend Tamara. Hey, Tamara. We were about to perform a circle spell. The men were still gone. I don't know who these men are, but in my brain, I was like, there are men and they are not here. Militarized police showed up like a SWAT team. They had bulletproof vests and guns. They wanted to stop us from performing the circle spell. I now know it was a dream. I now knew it was a dream and I acted. There was something about the ludicrousness of this idea that militarized like SWAT teams would show up to stop us from forming a circle that sort of told my brain that something wasn't right here. And I was like, oh, okay. But I still had this deep sense of fear and urgency. Like I had to do something. I have to do something. So I tried to tell them that Tamara didn't live here. She was just visiting and she should be let go. But they said no. And so that's when my fear spiked. I was like, oh my God, something I've done is going to get my friends in trouble. So my dream brain said, I'm going to put a stop to this. Then cars and cars of people showed up. That's where Aaron went to, says my brain. Aaron's my partner. I guess he was one of the men. They started to pour out of their cars. The police halted and dream. Now, I know I wrote this right when I woke up because there's like so much misspelling. But then I wrote this. We can beat them with numbers and awareness and visibility. So let's talk about witchcraft and dreaming. We can beat them with numbers and awareness and visibility. The world, especially right now, but probably always, has been a scary place for people who are different, for people who don't follow those in authoritarian power. The reason why midwives and wise women and, you know, people who lived closer to the land are always demonized as witches, witch being a bad word, is because they go against the grain of patriarchal, authoritarian, white supremacy, heteronormativity, these colonial inferior structures. They reject ideas of what society should be and look like and who should be in it. And that's usually quite difficult for people whose power depends on people falling in line. And we have seen a lot of that since October 7th, since before then too. The world is getting increasingly more dangerous, and we have to stick together. I offer you witchcraft as a means of resistance, of spiritual resistance with action behind it. No, I do not offer you spiritual bypassing. You can get up out my face with that. Sitting back and going, well, I'm just going to vibrate on a higher level of consciousness, and all of the turmoil of the world around me, and all of the genocides, and all of the injustice, and all of the assault, and all of the... It's just low vibe. You are just lazy and stupid and ignorant and dumb and selfish. Do I think that each and every one of us has the ability to solve all of the world's problems? No, I don't. Do I think we have to take care of ourselves and that there are many different levels to activism? Yes, I do. You know, some people who are differently abled, have small children, live in unsafe situations, their ability to protest and organize may look different than someone else's who is in, say, a position of privilege. Everything you do in the myriad of things is important. Do not rely on spiritual resistance alone. Call somebody, sign a petition, donate if you can, organize a food drive. You know, we should be thinking about the people of the world, and also the people of the world are often in our own neighborhoods, in our own backyards as well. Is there a soup kitchen in your town that could use a volunteer this weekend? Is there, you know, a prison pen pal program? Is there something you can volunteer to do? Can you, you know, bake an apple pie for your neighbor who is widowed and alone this holiday season? I mean, all of these acts of love and kindness build and build and build and build. They do not happen in isolation. If I go out and I help a woman bring her stroller up and down the subway steps, I don't know. Maybe that gives her just a smile today. Who knows how she was feeling that morning, right? It's not the biggest thing I can do in the world, but I could do something. And I think so often, so much is happening that it's easy to be paralyzed by fear and grief and hopelessness and confusion as to which way to go. Enter witchcraft. Witchcraft is empowering. It builds that intuition. It builds your self-trust. It builds your arsenal of tools that you can use to bolster yourself and your community. It gives you ways to feel and be safe. Wards, banishments, purification, cleansing, safe perimeters, healing herbs and ointments. You know, I'm making this healing oil. Being able to understand how to use plants and flowers and roots and the kinds of things that we may have to turn to in dire situations, right? Building community means putting the effort in, and we are going to need community. We need it now, but we may need it even more soon. Get in touch with your witchcraft practice. If you want any tips or anything like that, hit me up, shoot me a DM, send me an email, leave a comment. Happy to provide. That'll be my community service. I do offer a ton of classes and workshops and things that are coming up, which I'll also link below. But little quick hits here and there, I got you. Dreaming for witchcraft is one of them. So how do we do it? What do I mean? I'll give you some pointers. If you are at a crossroads and you are unsure of what to do or where to go, you can call in gods, goddesses, deities, beings, your ancestors. You can call messages into your dreams. You can leave herbs under your pillow to help with that. You can do all of the things that I mentioned to set the stage and set the space, and invite the goddess into your dreams. Whoever it is, your ancestors, invite them. And the meditation I'm going to do at the end of this is going to take you through that experience of calling on a dream guide to help you in the fight of bolstering your witchcraft, receiving messages, and spiritual activism and justice. And so do stick around for that. I'm going to take you through into a dreaming temple where this guide is waiting for you, and you will communicate and receive messages, and that will set you on your dreaming path. So dreams can be used to receive messages. Dreams can be used to communicate with other witches. I have a friend of mine, and we often meet each other in the dream space. We have cultivated over quite some time a dreaming place, a place to meet. You can use it for that. You can use it to receive warnings, to answer questions on which way to go. And so when you set those dream intentions before you go to sleep, be very clear. Go through the steps, utilize some of the things I talked about, and say, I need to receive a message about this. What should I do? And when you start to cultivate a practice, along with your witchcraft practice, doing, trying, experimenting again and again and again, you build that inner wisdom, self-trust, self-belief. But it is a practice. We can't just be given things like this. I know that it's hard right now. I've said this like 1,000 times on this channel as someone who has like 7 jobs and a full-time PhD, and my health has been deteriorating for a long time, and I'm just now being able to take control of that again. I know it's hard. And I don't want you to feel guilty about not being able to do something or achieve something, or you need to rest. Rest is part of the magic. When we receive dreams, visions, an answer during spell work or divination, dreaming is just another form of divination. We have to let that integrate into our bodies, into our waking space. It's almost impossible to let that happen if you just go after. You have to put yourself in a position to carve out the space and the time to integrate. I call them incubation rituals because I think of it like this. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug. Speaking of hugs, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug for getting to the end of this video, where I'm about to take you on a guided meditation. So give yourself a hug. And thank yourself. Maybe you'll pause the video here. Maybe you'll listen to the guided meditation before bed. Maybe you'll listen to it now. Hell yeah. I don't know when you're listening to this. But wherever you are, before you pause or stop this video, be sure to like and subscribe and comment. But other than that, give yourself a hug. And just take a moment. We're going to practice that incubation, that cultivation right now. Feel your breath. Just feel it. Notice it. Just become aware. What's it doing? Is it hard to breathe? Once you tune into your breath, tune into your body. Are there any aches or pains? Any tenderness, blockages? Send the breath right on through. The tip of your head to the tips of your toes, to the tips of your fingertips. And say, thank you, body, for carrying me this far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you. Let's get ready to meditate. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Again, in and out. And one more time, breathing in, feeling your chest rise and out, feeling it fall. Allow your eyes to gently close. Feel your body soften into the space around you. With every breath, imagine you are sinking deeper into the earth's embrace, supported, grounded, safe. Notice the rhythm of your breath, the rise and fall of your chest, the way your heart beats steadily beneath your hand if you place it there. You are here, you are present, and you are about to step into a sacred threshold, the dreaming temple. The temple lives both inside of you and beyond you. A liminal space where dreams and waking life intermingle, where magic and possibility are alive. Now imagine a soft light forming at the crown of your head. This light is gentle but powerful, like moonlight on water. It flows down through your body, through your forehead, your throat, belly, pelvis, legs, and feet, connecting you to the earth below. From the soles of your feet, roots begin to grow. See them spiraling deep into the earth, anchoring you to the soil, the stone, the ancient heartbeat of the land. Feel yourself rooted in belonging, safe to journey. Now in your mind's eye, imagine you are standing before an ancient doorway. This is the threshold to the dreaming temple. Notice the doorway shape, its carvings, its color. Perhaps it is lit by torches or glowing with starry light. When you are ready, place your hand upon it. Feel the texture beneath your fingers. With one deep breath in, you step forward. And as you exhale, the doors open and you cross the threshold. You find yourself in the dreaming temple, a vast and timeless sanctuary. The air shimmers with possibility, as if made of dreams itself. The temple may look like marble halls or ancient ruins, or perhaps it is woven of starlight and roots, its walls shifting like clouds. Trust what you see. Notice the sounds, perhaps the soft echo of water dripping or the rustle of unseen wings. Notice the scents, incense, earth, or something familiar from your ancestral memory. You are in a place between worlds, a liminal space. Here, magic is alive, and all things are possible. At the center of the temple is a great altar. Upon it burns a flame that never dies, the flame of witchcraft, the flame of your own inner power. Approach this altar, place your hands upon it, feel its warmth. Know that this flame belongs to you, to all who carry the work of magic and healing forward. From the shadows, from the light, a presence begins to emerge. It may be a goddess, ancient, radiant, fierce, or gentle. It may be an ancestor, one who walked before you, carrying wisdom and resilience. Or perhaps it is a guide in another form, an animal, a spirit, a figure of mystery. They step forward to meet you. Allow their image to form. Trust what comes. Greet them in your way. A bow, a hand over your heart, a whispered word. They have a message for you. Listen carefully. It may come as words you hear, an image in your mind, a sensation in your body, or simply a knowing. Take the time to receive it. When you are ready, thank them for their gift. Your guide now leads you back to the altar flame. Together you gaze into its light. Here you see the visions of the world, the beauty, the wounds, the struggles, the hope. Your guide shows you how your witchcraft, your magic, your dreams can be used in service of healing and justice. Perhaps you see yourself weaving protection for vulnerable communities. Perhaps you dream new futures into being. Perhaps you offer energy to the earth, to waters, to forests, to all beings. Allow yourself to see, to feel, to know. Your magic is not only personal, it is collective. It is activism of the spirit, activism of the dream. Your guide invites you to place your hands into the altar flame. The fire does not burn, it empowers. Feel its energy flowing into your palms, into your heart, into your whole being. This flame becomes part of you now, a living commitment to use your gifts in service of the world. Take a moment to silently speak your intention. How will I use my witchcraft, my dreams, my magic for spiritual activism? Answer the question for your guide. Your guide nods, witnessing your vow. The temple begins to soften around you, glowing with gratitude. Your guide places a final blessing upon you, perhaps a touch to your forehead, a word, or a symbol pressed into your palm. They remind you, you can return here anytime, in meditation, in ritual, or in dreams. This temple lives within you. Now turn toward the doorway through which you entered. Step through it. And as you do, the temple gently fades into the dream space, waiting for your return. Feel your roots in the earth again. Feel your body resting here in the present moment. Begin to bring your awareness back into your physical body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep, nourishing breath, and when you are ready, gently open your eyes. You return renewed, empowered, and connected, carrying the flame of the dreaming temple within you.